Hello, New Orleans. You're listening to the Sports Coma, your new #1 podcast on everything Saints, Pelicans, and a lot more. And now, here's your host, Big Q and the guys.
What's up, sports world? Y'all on with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, talking about that Saint and Pelican sport talk. Very entertaining. Tonight we got a full slate of games. Actually, full slate to talk about dealing with the Saints. They played the Patriots tonight. Lost 34-22 up there in Foxborough. Wasn't pretty. I mean, it was pretty ugly. It got ugly late. You know what I'm saying? It got ugly real late, but we're going to get to it. Sports Coma, our sponsor is Posh Life. A real good group of people. They sell a good group of items, organics, a little bit of everything. Top providers of the top-notch water filters, stuff for your shower, stuff for your tubs, stuff for your faucets that go in the kitchen area. We filters out the fluoride, the chlorine, among other pollutants and toxins that's in the water supply. Take responsibility, y'all. Take responsibility and clean your water. Clean it. Don't maybe put my Cliff Huxtable voice on, but y'all make sure y'all clean your water. Get y'all supplies from the Posh Lifestyle. Also, they sell healing aids such as healing crystals, healing magnetics for carpal tunnel. They got organic supplements, clothing, a little bit of everything. So they give you free shipping on most of their items when you spend over $100. So check them out. I implore you to check them out at shoptheposhlifestyle.com. That's shopthepashlife. Life is spelled Lyfe. Lifestyle.com. Shoptheposhlifestyle.com. And remember, their slogan is love what you do. Love what you do. That's a very simple slogan. I agree with that. In other news here before we get into our regular program, I'd like to make an announcement about a very special young man. His name is Rashard Harris. He's suffering from a sickness called aplastic anemia. Aplastic anemia. Serious condition. During his hospital stay, he received 2 bone marrow biopsies and a port in his chest. So the little fella really going through it. He had 16 blood transfusions since June of this year. He received a 4-day treatment of chemo. He's still on the list for a bone marrow transplant. His mom, Brianna Harris, hasn't been working that much, and that's understandable because she's taking care of Rashad. The family's asking for help is what you can give. They're asking for air purifiers for the home. That's very critical for the condition that Rashad has. A school desk because he can't go to school. The sickness is stopping him from going to school. He'll be homeschooled, and they need a school desk and school supplies to assist him. And the family is asking for help also with sanitary supplies for little Rashard. And we'll ask you, of course, the Sports Coma and with Big Q and the guys, we're going to make a donation to Rashard. But we want to young Rashard. We want everybody out there, and big shout out to the Netherlands, and we got new listeners in France and Belgium. Thank y'all and welcome to the show. Appreciate y'all support, and everybody else. And we implore anybody with a heart and money in their wallet that want to do something righteous to help a family out that's in need. Please go to the GoFundMe page. And let's see, it's the GoFundMe page for Rashad. His name is spelled Rashad, Rashad Medical Needs. They done raised about $860 thus far. The goal is $3,000 to help assist that family. That's a small amount of money if we can all kind of help out in that situation. So I like to implore everybody that hear this message to please go to Rashad's FundMe page, the GoFundMe page, Rashad's Medical Needs, and put that in the search box. Check that out. Please help him out and give from your heart if you can. Whatever you can give this family to help them out. And switching gears, fellas, we welcome in today's show. We have DC's back on the mic with us today. How you doing, DC? How you doing, my brother?
All right, man. I'm pretty good.
And the comedian, Suede. How you doing, sir? How you feeling today?
I'm doing fairly well, brother. You know, I've been better.
Okay. Well, I guess what if you feeling well, the Saints ain't helping you feel no better. I'm gonna be honest with you.
You know, but I mean, it wasn't anything. It wasn't nothing I can't deal with. You know, it was a fairly good show. It was not all that I expected, but I mean, you know, hey, I was impressed by a couple of things.
Right. Well, you know, you're looking at it.
And disappointed by a couple as well.
Right. You know, I'm conditioned to kind of look at the positives of it. In the 3 series that the defense was out there, they actually stopped the Brady-less offense. Held them to 25 yards on the first 3 drives. They made them punt 3 times. Well, I'm encouraged by that. I'm encouraged by the play. I'm gonna give one of my offensive players that I really was encouraged by, Mike Thomas, man. 4 receptions, 67 yards. He had 2 highlight reel catches, 1 diving catch and 1 leaping one. Then he had a fumble recovery too. And my other favorite was Kasimi Dibali, man. He making a strong case for that left end position opposite of Cam Jordan. He had 2 sacks today. And you know, there are many other takeaways, but what do y'all guys take so far as that goes? What y'all like and dislike? Gonna start with you, Swade.
I would say, like yourself, I like to tend to look at the positive side of things, and I would say we have a lot of room for improvement. You know,
that's an understatement there, DC.
They played real sloppy, man. Other than the first team, we went out there and we kind of handled business on those first 3 drives, but they played real sloppy, man. Left a lot of stuff on the table. You got 22 points coming off of turnovers, man. I mean,
yes.
We killed ourselves tonight. You know, we had, I think, more penalty yards than they had total yards in the second quarter, I believe. But it's just a real sloppy turn there, man. They got a lot of young guys, so you expect them to make mistakes. So I'm looking to see how far they grow from this, but I was really impressed with the same 2 players. That was the 2 bright spots we had, Kasim Edebali and Michael Thomas, and Murray did a few things out there. So I was really impressed with him as well.
Well, the Saints had 9 penalties for 93 yards. The Pats had 7 for 79. For 79, 4 turnovers by New Orleans tonight. Swade, what's your take on some of the players that you've seen, some positive and negatives in a quick shot?
Well, I mean, being this the first preseason game, and the Saints having so many youngsters on that team, it's liable that they're going to make some mistakes here and there, you know, just to, you know, shake all the nervousness off, you know?
Right.
With the veterans that have been here before, you know, they're just easing into the first game of the preseason. With the Saints passing for 291 yards, it's okay. With the turnovers, it sucks very much because you can't go anywhere and win with 4 turnovers and 9 penalties for 93 yards.
Right.
Really kind of disappointed me, but I'm teeter-tottering on is the offensive line. It kind of made me real uncomfortable, you know. And then the rushing game, we only had 78 yards rushing.
Right.
But the side of that offense, not only Michael Thompson, and I'm going to go ahead and say, I told you so, was Marcus Murphy, my man, Marcus Murphy, the future Darius Cruz. And another thing I learned about the Saints offense, how slow Willie Snead is. Man, Willie Snead.
Like you're running in sand. You're running in sand.
Oh, he is running in sand, dude. Like, go somewhere. Hey, man, what is that? Like, if he was on man speed, like probably 63 or something, man. You know what I'm saying? But you know, dude, like DC said, there's a lot of improvements we can make on that offense, especially the offensive line, and in that running game. Defense, the first team, second team, I thought they held their own. I was real impressed.
Yeah, that not bad first team. First few plays. Drew Brees was out there. He had that deep throw to Brandon Cooks for 37 yards. That was a real nice drop in the basket. Marcus Murphy, to your point, he had 7 carries for 22 yards, averaged about 3.1 carries on the night. Looking at the inactives, fellas, Damian Swan didn't play, of course. Devin Bro, Keenan Lewis, and we yesterday Lewis had a situation, maybe a little injury, which some people say it wasn't much, but let me tell you, man, anytime you hear Keenan Lewis injury news, and they've been playing this man with kid gloves, and something still happened with him, so I don't know. Cam Jordan, then of course he didn't play. You know, he had the birth of his daughter. Armstead, he was there, he just didn't play. John Jenkins, of course, he didn't play. A couple of young players, Jack Lankman and Avery Young, they didn't play. Austin Johnson, of course, I think it's something deep about that. You bring John Kuhn, and I think Austin Johnson in trouble. And backup tight end Garrett Griffin. Those guys were inactives. 3 cornerbacks, Devin Bro, Keenan Lewis, and Damian Swan missing. So you had pretty much the young guys out there playing in the secondary covering. What's the deal here? I mean, I like the energy that they're playing with. I really like these young cornerbacks. I really do. I'm just now starting. I'm starting to think that for us to put the talent together to be effective, we're gonna have to have some time together on the field at the same time. You just don't throw pieces together out there and expect them to gel right away. They need to play together, learn each other's movements, learn how each other plays, and anticipation, such as things like that. I was looking at an interesting stat dealing with the defense. You know, we know how good the offense is. Hell, the offense is top 3 or 4 offense every damn year. But I'm looking at how disastrous and how depressing the defense has been. 2015 overall ranking on the defense, 31st. 2014 they were ranked 31st. 2013, guess what? 2013 they were ranked 4th. So the last couple of years, almost dead last in the NFL in defense. And it's not like Peyton hadn't went out and tried to make some improvements on the defensive side of the ball. But give me your take on that. Swade.
Well, when I look at the defense, I'm not expecting the defense to be not even in the top 10. If the defense is even in the top 20, which was they were for the Super Bowl year, they weren't.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I remember.
They had the most turnovers. They created turnovers.
Yes, sir. Sacks and turnovers. That's right.
Right, which is why the line is putting that pressure on, which will interrupt the quarterback, hopefully create fumbles and interceptions. You know, so if they perform all season or an injury, word to Stephon Anthony, I hope he get better, brother. I can take that. And we can go possibly to where we need to be, man.
Do you think this defense this year can mimic some of the things the Super Bowl defense did in 2009 when they produced those turnovers and sacks at the higher rate? I know this is early, but based on what you've seen, do we have the personnel and talent to pull that off? You, DC?
I think they got the attitude to do it, man. There's one thing I did see tonight. A lot of guys, they were jumping at passes. They were really aggressive, trying hard. So, I think they have the mindset to do it. They just got to line it all up together, man. They got to play together as a unit. I've seen a lot of over-pursuing, people not trusting people to handle their gaps. Some people missing, stuff that they were supposed to get. So they just got to learn to play with trust. I mean, they have the confidence. So that's the thing I've seen that reminds me of the whole 19 I feel they have would be the confidence, man. They got a little swag, but I mean, they can't really stunt because they ain't do nothing good.
Well, you're right, DC. I'm gonna let Swade comment on that. About to go into our first break, but got a few more topics on this game we're gonna cover later on in the last segment. We got some Pelican news as well. They released their schedule. We're gonna cover a little bit of that. But stay tuned to the Sports Coma. Big Q and the guys will be back to break down the rest of the facts.
When winter is gone, so spring on over to We've Got It, your low-price, high-class leader. That's right, come in now and take advantage of our everyday bundle deals on any 3 bundles. 12 to 16 inches, $130. 18 to 22 inches, $155. And 24 to 30 inches, $185. We've Got It. 495 Voters Road in Slidell. 985-445-1400. That's 985-445-1400.
I'm the flyest in the world. I'm the flyest in the world. I'm the flyest in the world. Who you know that's better than me? Nobody.
Be the playmaker. Madden NFL 16. Game not yet rated.
Hey, I'm Paul, and I used to ask if you could hear me now with Verizon. Not anymore. I'm with Sprint now, because guess what? It's 2016 and every network is great. In fact, Sprint's reliability is now within 1% of Verizon. And Sprint saves you 50% on most Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile rates. So I switched to Sprint, and millions more have too. Can you hear that?
Don't let a 1% difference cost you twice as much. Switch to Sprint today.
What up, America? This Big Q from the Sports Coma, letting you know that you can follow us and the guys on Facebook, All Saints and Pelican fans, also on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, the Sports Coma. You can also download our podcast at podbean.com. So check us out for all the intense and entertainment talk on the Saints, the Pels, and a hell of a lot more. Only at the Sports Coma, you heard me?
Get ready, New Orleans. It's time for the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, telling you everything you need to know about the Saints, Pelicans, and a whole lot more.
I ain't gonna say it no more.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma. Big Q and the guys. We still rapping them Saints. We say this a meaningless. Some people believe in this a meaningless game. Saints and the Patriots preseason game, but hey, some meaningful things do happen in these games, and injuries is a part of it. And one of the major ones we facing with now is our strong side linebacker. He's out. He got carted off the field. Stephon Anthony got carted off the field. We'll have word on it. We'll have word on that tomorrow. But anytime you get carted off the field, that's never a good thing. So we got to take the good with the bad, but hopefully, usually when we play these games, you would want to come out as healthy as you possibly can with the experience. But going back to our previous comment before the break, we was talking about the attitude that it would take to reproduce something similar to what the Super Bowl defense gave us. They wasn't, of course, a top 10 defense. No, they weren't. But you're right, Swade. They were able to get turnovers and convert turnovers into touchdowns, put the offense in great field position. I remember those days. And I'm asking you, I know it's prematurely. I know it's still early. I know we just completed our first preseason game. But based on all the years that you've been following this team, do you agree with DC? Do you agree with DC what he said early on? Is this team good enough to reproduce or come close to what that Super Bowl team defense was?
Like I told you earlier, man, with the rush, I seen that line go, get past that line of scrimmage, man, to that quarterback. It almost wasn't a doubt that they didn't put a hand on the quarterback, you know, and that's pretty much what you need. Now, take most of those defensive backs and safeties in their hands, that take the cobwebs off the rush, and, you know, get back and to affect them of intercepting and catching the ball. What I've realized from first than others in the past is that they are actually tackling now. You know, I see a lot of good tackles. They're not just touching it, they're not playing flag or hit. I want to give a shout out to Trey Elston. Trey Elston had a good game today. We didn't even bring his name up in the past for a broadcast, and he showed out today. Also, Nathan Stupper. Nathan Stupper had 5 totals.
He played good.
Yeah, he played real good. 2 solos and assisted with 5 tackles and 1 too. Yep, you know. And also, and like DC said, man, they have the swag. They just need to put everything together and really be cohesive in what they're doing.
Well, I think that's excellent comment, but I do have to correct you on one thing, man, Mr. BLAXUEDE. That I did bring up Mr. Trey Elston on the previous broadcast. I mentioned him and said that he. So I had to give you that. I told you so back. But right, well, but that's the same as nobody paying attention to Jimmy Pruitt. I mean, Jimmy Pruitt's another one of those really good cornerbacks that we have on the roster. We hadn't made mention of him yet. He hadn't given a. He played solidly, but he's been overshadowed by Devontae Harris and Ken Crawley. But staying with the defensive theme, like you mentioned Nate Stupper, Daniel Ellaby, James Laurinaitis 300, Nick Fairley. Those dudes really had a solid game today. They played like the true veterans that they are. They look real good out there. To say the least, I really like that. Now, cause we're gonna go. I gotta say about Kasimi Debale, man. I mean, James Laurinaitis provided the pressure up the center. He would have had that sack, but Garoppolo was able to escape him into the arms of Kasimi Debale. So I give Laurinaitis credit for flushing him out the pocket. And he had his mitts on him for a minute, just couldn't bring him down. But Kasim got to him and was able to drag him down. So I really like what the defense is doing. Let's switch gears. Let's talk offense now, because the defense, in terms of the first-team defense, really looked good against, like I said, I got to say, the Brady-less New England Patriots, as good as they are. But let's look at the offensive line. The movement and DC, I gotta back you up on a lot of what the things that you've been saying, because I'm really confused, and I need you to straighten me out, educate me on what the hell Sean Payton is doing with Andrews Pete. I mean, what the hell is going on? Is he gonna be a left tackle? Or I've never seen anything. All my years of watching football, I've never seen a man you drafted with the 13th overall pick a couple years ago. Drafted him when everybody was screaming for a defensive lineman. You draft this offensive tackle. He's a right tackle he's a left tackle in Stanford. I believe he was a left tackle for 4 years in Stanford. You move him to right tackle, competes with Streif. He comes into camp late because of school rules. He comes into camp not in pro NFL shape, so he struggles much of the year against Zach Streif. Then you come back the next year. You don't let him go directly in competition with Zach Streif, but you move him to right guard. Then when Armstead is on the pup list or not playing, you move him to left tackle. DC, you first. What the hell is going on with Sean Payton with Andrews Pete?
I don't know, man. I think he must think that's still Jamari Evans in his prime or something, bro. He think you can plug him and play him anywhere. I don't know, man. Why would you draft a rookie? To me, it seems, if you draft a rookie and he plays left tackle, you should at least let him play tackle, and you should have him starting that from the get-go. Never in his college career did he ever play guard. Never in his college career did he have a history of playing guard. But you move him to guard, and why aren't you giving him? Why is he directly competing with Zach Streif? Why is Zach Streif so untouchable right now? I don't understand that. How is the right tackle position untouchable, like Zach Streif done proved that he just like Max Unger? I mean, what is the deal with that? I told you Zach Streif got a little dirt on Sean. I'm starting to believe it, bro.
Sweet, what you got?
It's just ridiculous. I mean, that may be his baby daddy. I don't know what's the problem. I have no idea, bro. I don't know. Child support, I have no idea. But, hopefully they'll get it together. Like I said, I was really comfortable with the offensive line today. They were all right. It still was kind of sketchy, man. And I totally agree. I don't know what they're going to do with Pete. They keep repeating. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they keep repeating their mistakes as far as he goes. But Jari Evans signed a deal with Seattle yesterday or today as a guard there. But his contract wasn't something that was too expensive. I mean, he didn't want to take. Of course, he didn't want to take the pay cut. He took a previous pay cut. He did refuse to take the pay cut this year because obviously he felt like, well, I provided good service all these years. And besides, my play is better than most of these other guys' play, which he fell off. Don't get me wrong, his play dropped because of injuries, but hell, he was still better than what Zach Strief is. I mean, to me, it's amazing. Go ahead, DC.
Put that on the Saints, though, man. You got to put that on Jabari Evans. He went from trying to play with us with Ferrari money to playing with the Seattle Seahawks for Jaguar money.
Well, I don't think he probably realized his value. We was gonna get that. He thought he was gonna come out of it as a healthy guard and get a big solid contract. Didn't work out that way. But being that was kind of offer that was being offered. My take is this: is that you need help at guard. Jari Evans is out there, even though you might say, okay, well, we had a breakup with Jari Evans. You need help. Clemente is not the answer. Lolito is pathetic. I'm sorry to use the P word. But he's pathetic. Right. Well, there's another. Yeah. But he's pathetic. He's pathetic. You know, and it's sad to me that, you know, the offensive line is the guard position, especially, has always been a major strength of the Sean Payton offensive line. I mean, Carl Nicks, Jari Evans, they had produced some real good, solid guards over the years. That really now this year the offensive line is in pieces. And I'm looking at the game, and I'm saying to myself, I've seen when New England was providing pressure on the defensive line, winning the battles in the trenches, that's swallowing up holes that the running back's trying to get to. So, I mean, it's amazing. What's your take?
Q, this just in. I just got this information. All right? Hello?
Go ahead, brother.
Just got this information. I want to give a shout out to the only guy who can't complete the Cupid Shuffle dance because that would involve kicking. Give it up for my man, Forbath. Thank you.
Of course, Connor Forbath, he missed a field goal today. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. Your one job in the world is to kick the field goal, and
I told you, man, this guy stinks. If whoever recruits the kickers, they gotta let him go, but he got to go.
Well, in contrast, right, in preseason. In contrast, their kicker Gostowski, he made both his field goals. So, I don't know. I really don't know. I can't speak to that. Let's look at some other stuff here. Tommy Lee Lewis, man, we might have missed some Tommy Lee a few times on the show, but Tommy Lee, man. Now, at first, my impression was Tommy Lee was going to be a guy that was involved in the special teams at kick return or maybe punt return in direct competition with your boy Marcus Murphy-Wade. But obviously Sean Payton sees a role for him that's bigger than the special teams play. I mean, he caught three catches for 38 yards. He had the little gadget play he ran for the 2-point conversion. So I'm really surprised. Could Tommy Lee make this team as a wide receiver and knock out somebody else possibly? Is that possible?
Yeah, you might. Tommy Lee, hey, you got to remember, and you know that with the tuner put his name on it. If the tuner gonna put his name on somebody, this dude coming with something. He's very special.
That is true.
What I saw today, he has what it takes to become an awesome man. He needs to, so he may make the cut as receiver. He may. Special teams definitely.
Well, I think Sean Payton is still the usual, man. He playing linebacker like y'all with it, bro. Remember, we had this with Jimmy Graham, and we had a few other players that we had. They truck up like that. Sometimes he likes to hide his players in the preseason and spread them out on you during the regular season. Tom Payton is a guy that's making all kind of waves and training camp now. When I saw the day on very limited touches, he was on that.
Hey, DC, he is quite the weapon, man. I'm gonna let you come back and finish your point. We're about to go into that second break. But like I said, I like these weapons, and we need athletes. We need speed on both sides of the ball. I'm glad to see we have it. But we're going to our break. We'll be back, talk more topics, more Saints on the Sports Coma.
Nah, man. I'm not retiring.
I'll still break that old man's ankles.
I'm still gonna knock down turnaround jumpers all day.
That ain't changing.
Man, I drop threes on them all night long.
All night.
All night.
I'll drain threes on you all night.
Man, I dropped 82 on you.
I've been Kobe for like 14 years.
I've been him for 16 years.
I won like 15 championships.
I've been Kobe for as long as I can remember.
Dude, you're 8.
Nah, man, I'm not retiring.
I hate Kobe Bryant.
I love that Mamba face.
I hate that Mamba face.
I'll dunk on fools.
I'll still hate Kobe Bryant. I'm still gonna hate him.
He's not done.
This doesn't change a thing.
I am Kobe.
I am Kobe.
I am Kobe Bryant.
I'll still be Kobe Bryant.
Product not yet rated.
The 6, Raptors, Diamond, Key, New Ride, Old Ride, Bad Times, Good Times, Young Money, New Money, OVO, 29, 29, 29, Best I Ever Had, Worst Behavior, Old Crib, New Crib, October, Sound, Festival, Album Time Again, or Acting Time Again, My Friend, My Friends, Younger Me, Older Me, Me as Manny, Me as Jimmy, Me as Drake.
What up, America? This Big Q from the Sports Coma, letting you know that you can follow us and the guys on Facebook, All Saints and Pelican fans, also on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, the Sports Coma. You can also download our podcast at podbean.com. So check us out for all the intense and entertainment talk on the Saints, the Pels, and a hell of a lot more. Only at the Sports Coma, you heard me? Back to the Sports Coma. Big Q and the guys still talking Saints. I'm looking at these passing numbers for some of these quarterbacks, and I'm not completely enthused. Luke McClown. Usually when he does good, I call him Luke. I call him McCown. But when he does stuff like this tonight, numbers are 18 out of 27, 143, had a touchdown. Not so bad, but he had that pick, the infamous 3 on defense, which is when he gets sacked, he gets stripped, and then doesn't recover the ball. The guy gets it and goes to the touchdown. So the guy did 3 things on one person. Well, I can't be totally mad at him. I'm going to give him credit. I'm just playing. But Garrett Grayson, man, good Lord, man. Garrett Grayson, the last dude I remember with the name Grayson, wasn't that Batman's sidekick? But well, anyway, let's go to Devon. Devon, let me let you finish. DC, let me let you finish your point that you was making about that young undrafted Bill Parcells Padawan called Tommy Lee Lewis.
Man, I've been high on Tommy Lee since we started the Sports Coma. I already seen it coming. We've been missing that Darren Stroll that's role, and I feel like Tommy Lee could be that type of guy and a little bit more as a receiver. So he's another gadget player, so you can see him running a few reverses and trick plays and stuff like we saw tonight. And you can also see him just go out there and flat out play football, man. That guy caught a catch with his hands, leaped out, straight grabbed it, man. We're looking at Coleman and all his size and statistics and all this. Man, you can't measure hard, bro, and Tommy Lee got it.
He does got heart. He definitely has heart. What your take, Wade?
I definitely agree, man. Tommy Lee Lewis, 3 receptions, 38 yards, 12 yards per catch. His longest was a 20-yard grab. So, and the speed is phenomenal.
Yes.
I definitely agree with his heart, you know what I'm saying? And this dude's going to be a terrific player. Like I said, the tool to put his name on it, so you got to look at it from that perspective.
Well, you look. That's true. I give you credit for that. You're absolutely right. Tuna ain't gonna say something, put his stamp on it, and just for nothing, man. He got too much pride in his stuff or anything like that. But let me ask you about this. Speaking of which, DC just brought up a very interesting name that it's kind of drawing ire for me and a few other people, and that's Brandon Coleman, man. Brandon Coleman to me now. And I gotta get Brandon Coleman together, man. The last 3 years, Brandon Coleman been down here. They were really Brandon Coleman was a guy that they were really high on because of his measurables. He was a big wide receiver, 6'6", big guy that can leap up and attack the ball at his highest point. He's supposed to be Marcus Colston, heir apparent. That basically, Marcus Colston basically knighted this man and told him, "You will become me once I leave." And he can't wash it. He can't wash it. He can't buy it. He can't even brush up against it. I mean, Brandon Coleman to me, man, is more like he's following the path that Nick Toon had. Now, when Nick Toon was down here, we talked about Nick. They had Nick Toon's father was a great jet, whatever. That obviously jumped over his gene pool. Maybe it go to his son or somebody. But to be honest with you, I'm saying the same thing about Coleman, man. Coleman to me is really looking terrible, man. I mean, I got to say it. Even last year when the Saints had an opportunity, he had an opportunity to really step up in the ranks and really solidify his position as a true possession receiver next to Brandon Cooks. That's what they really wanted. They basically set up. They didn't bring in no big name wide receivers to compare against him. You had a old Marcus Colston who was ineffective, but outside of that, Brandon Coleman was basically the guy that was supposed to sit next to Brandon Cooks. And guess what? He didn't do it. He didn't rise up to the occasion. Willie Snead was the one that took advantage of the opportunity. And what I'm saying is, you got this guy. He's 6'6", supposed to be the ultimate red zone weapon. What is his problem? I mean, what is the deal? I mean, like this play today, they made the pass. It was kind of a bad throw off, but you've been here for 3 years. When a pass like that, you usually bat the ball down and guard. He got big hands, so he could have did something besides tip it up in the air and let him get an interception and run it all the way back. I'm kind of flamed about it. I'm a little emotional behind it. So you guys, y'all, what's y'all take on it? Give me a little take on that.
Do they bet on preseason games?
I hope not. I hope not.
I can't explain that. Been waiting for this guy to break out for 3 years, and they thought, he was right around the corner. He has the speed. He can't damn catch though. Like
he can't catch, right?
He can't catch.
He can run the routes and he can look the puck. He can look the puck. Getting off the bus, I bet you they like, we don't want to guard that guy. But when you put the tape on and you put him out on the field, man, he's not producing. So it's a project, and I think they ought to just go ahead and just wrap it up, man. Give Sativis Jones a shot, maybe see what he can do. They're about the same size, and go ahead and cut Brandon Coleman loose. Maybe a change of scenery, him being somewhere else help out a little bit. So, man.
Go ahead, Swade.
Just pretty much like I said, VC heard me. I said they compare him to the next Marcus Colston. He more like the next Marcus Houston. You get the opportunity, you know what I'm saying, for an awesome franchise to start at receiver. You have the height. All you have to do is learn how to catch the ball, and he can't seem to do that, man. I think definitely somebody's going to take his spot. He's going to be this to another team, and I won't have any feelings behind it.
Well, you got to look at it. You got to start looking at it.
Let me not hate him too much. I hope he gets better during the preseason.
Well, listen. This is your third year here. You either got it or you don't. No matter how many, if you got to want it. They can give you the opportunity, but you're out there, you got to want it. And I don't see that from him. And 3 words come to mind when I'm talking about Brandon Coleman: Stanley Jean Baptiste. And if you're a Saints fan, you know exactly what I mean. Stanley Jean Baptiste, a guy that had all the measurables in the world, supposed to be this big. And incidentally, he's playing for Seattle now, but he's supposed to be. They got rid of Detroit. He's now in Seattle, understudying with Sherman, with their top cornerback Sherman out there. So, but this is the thing that I'm saying is that you have receivers that really are interested in playing, that can really have the talent to excel. R.J. Harris, man, he's terrific. And then even today you had Reggie Bell. Reggie Bell caught a touchdown today. He had a touchdown. He had 2 catches for 8 yards, and one of them was a score. So I can give him credit for at least catching a pass. But especially when you a 3-year guy here, you've been given all the opportunity and recruited because of your size, but you failed to live up to expectations. I think you look at it. Mike Thomas is a dude to me, man. And I know you coming from 2 different schools of thought. One from Ohio State with the big program, big time, just does big things every day. When you put him on the field, he just used to doing that, just jumping up, I don't give a damn. I'm gonna catch the ball and you ain't gonna stop me. That mentality versus some guy that just out there. I ain't saying a man just out there to collect a check, but something's not right. Either you're too damn scared or something. I don't know what's going on, but I understand it's not what you would want out of your wide receiver. You gotta cut bait on him. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
He's not making my 53-man roster.
No, he's not. He's not. I think he's probably him and a prize cut of mine is Lolito. I really would want Lolito out of here too. Lolito is looked like he's wearing skates. The way them defensive linemen push him around. Tonight I'm a little hard on him, more harder than most because this was a very disturbing loss. So I'm just kind of venting on it. So please excuse me, world.
I love it, man. If they play like they suck, well, let's go ahead on and let it be known.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. But Mark, that's something. Let's get back to what we talk about. Mark Ingram did pretty good too today. I was kind of hot when he fumbled the ball because that's so Mark Ingram at times. You want to praise him, and then he does something stupid like fumble it at the goal line or right in the red zone. Go ahead, Swade.
One fumble a game. He's due for at least one fumble a game.
That's not good.
It's not. You should have none. You're supposed to take the ball at all times. But Mark Ingram, as we know him, he's going to fumble once a game. It may turn over, it may be recovered by linemen, even the quarterback, or he himself may recover, but he is going to fumble at least once a game.
I think they need to do him like Tiki Barber, man. Just make him walk around with football high up in the L. Yep. you gotta get rid of it, man. I mean, okay, in the beginning, you make a few mistakes, everybody, get a slap on the wrist. Man, this shit is getting out of control, bro. It's all the time, man. I mean, at least he threw him a touchdown. I give him some credit for that.
Well, he had 7 carries today for 22 yards. Actually, for 18 yards, 7 carries for 18 yards, and 2 scores. His longest run was an 8-yard run. He had those 2 touchdowns to make up for the 1 fumble. And I guess he redeemed himself 2 for 1 because, boy, he was going to catch it. I swear to you. I believe that, we don't have really patience for the fumbling thing, especially when you fumble in the red zone or when you are close to the goal line, because that's a drive killer and it just takes the steam out of the offense, Yeah, it does. But Sean Payton, toward the end of the game in his postseason presser, he was he focused on a lot of the 4 turnovers. Pretty much is what he harped in on. He talked about the 4 turnovers and the 9 penalties. What's y'all take on that? What y'all take on Sean Payton's take on the turnovers and the penalties?
I say Sean Payton is 100% right, man. I mean, that's like having a car with 4 tires and you got nails in your driveway and you back over them all the time and these 4 new tires. This is a correctable problem that has everything to do with you and nothing to do with the other team. So sometimes turnovers are not that way, but the turnovers we saw tonight, man, we just gave the ball away.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You cannot go on the road and even at home giving the ball away 4 times. There's no possible way you can win the game. Now I give him this though. Even with 4 turnovers, the game wasn't out of hand like it should have been.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
I give him that, but still 4 turnovers is ridiculous. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's Lamont ridiculous. You're absolutely right. Go ahead, DC.
I said the game didn't go out of hand because I'm looking at the time of possession, man. We had the ball for 34 minutes, they had 26. And then we killed them on 3rd down. Yeah, on 3rd down. So, 2 things right there, we would have been totally blown out. But on the other side, if we had turned the ball over, we probably win this game easy. That's right.
Well, those penalties will kill you every time, especially when you got 4 and they have 0. Now that's not a good ratio for you. It's kind of upsetting, but it is preseason. But the thing I'm really kind of concerned with is Stephon Anthony to lose him in this type of game and get carted off the field. He's a big part of that defense, and I'm just hoping we'll keep attuned to that to see what's going on. But you listen to Sports Coma World. We're gonna go on to our break. We'll cover the NBA and the Pels on the other side. Stay with us.
Hey, this Sway. I'm about to tune you in. I'll cue you into your one-stop online shop for all your health essentials. Your vitamins, your water filters, healing magnetics, hygiene products, healing crystals, and jewelry. For all this and more, just log into theposhlifestyle.com. Once again, that is theposhlifestyle.com.
There's no one road out there. No one surface. No one speed. No one way of driving on each and every road. But there is one car that can conquer them all. The Mercedes-Benz C-Class. 5 driving modes let you customize the steering, shift points, and suspension to fit the mood you're in and the road you're on. The 2016 C-Class, starting at $38,950.
Is it true Ciroc vodka makes the best flavors in the world? Take one sip of the lush wildness of Ciroc Red Berry. One taste of the intense ripeness of Ciroc Peach. Even one drop of the explosive freshness of Ciroc Coconut. And the truth will come to your lips. Ciroc Ultra Premium flavors. One sip is all it takes to taste true perfection. Available in Red Berry, Coconut, and Peach. Ciroc. Nothing tastes better than the truth.
Bud Light Party believes in change. That's why Bud Light has a new look, and we want to share it with everyone. From our national parks to our furthest shores, jackpot, to your living room. Look under your seats! Still the same refreshing Bud Light with a new look.
Back on the Coma, Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys going into our final segment. And we're going to be talking Pelicans this segment. It's the off season for the Pels. Few things we can cover. Their schedule just was released. Their season opener October the 26th against the Denver Nuggets. And then a couple days later, nationally televised game against the Golden State Warriors with Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. So that'll be a nationally televised game. Also, their first road game is until October the 29th against the Spurs. That's when they go on the road. And they'll have 5 nationally televised games this year, according to the newly released New Orleans Pelicans full schedule. DC made some very interesting points. We're going to start this segment with. He was make mentioning off break about the medical staff of the Pelicans, which is I'm pretty sure it's the same as the Saints being is owned by the same owner. Elaborate, DC. Give us a take on that injury history of the Pelicans last year. Damn near entire team was on the injury reserve, right? And key reserves as well. You know, they had to go and get guys off the street to come in and fill and to get the uniform, to play in the uniforms, and not to mention some of the injuries that occurred to the Saints last year. So give us your take on that.
Yeah, man, I just don't understand how the last 3 or 4 years the Saints in the preseason we always lose the key people, man. And then for the last 2 years, all of our key players on the Pelicans are always out of the game. I know you have seasons that are injury plagued. They call it injury bug and whatnot. It just seems like we have that bug every year. And this is a state where we have a lot of medical facilities, and we're known for being top in medical, the medical industry. How do we not have medical staff, huh? Some people from Blue Cliff Colleges.
show when Bill was talking to Theo, right? He kept bringing D's home from school. And then Theo made his little sympathy speech. You know what I'm saying? Well, I just wanted that you accept me for who I am, man. And then Bill get up and say, Theo, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. That's how I feel about the Pelicans, man. That's how I feel about the Pelicans.
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting takes. Last year the Pels, man, they were bitten by the injury bug, to say the least, man. They had 351 combined games of people that were injured, missed last year. You had Alexis Jenkins, he missed 14 games. Ryan Anderson missed 16 games. Amir Osik, the $50 million man, he missed 12 games. Luke Babbitt, 4. Norris Cole, 37. Dante Cunningham missed 1. 21 from AD from various injuries all over the body. Bryce DeJean Jones, rest in peace. He missed 26 games with that fractured wrist. He broke that wrist right after signing the contract. That was bad luck for him. Tyreek Evans missed 57 games. Yes. Yeah, they need something. Eric Gordon missed 37, 9 for Alonzo G. Drew Holiday missed 17. The best center in the NBA, Kendrick Perkins, he missed 18. Quincy Bondexter, he had missed all of last season with knee injuries. And the combined total of games missed by all those Pelican players was 351 combined games that all those players I just mentioned missed. Quite a few guys. That is a lot of injuries.
Right. And you know what, DC, to be honest, you may be on to something right there, sir. You may be on to something. Maybe it is the medical staff.
From Blue Cliff College?
Maybe they're actually not giving the players what they need to withstand an 82-game season, because Eric Gordon had the same problem. Anybody comes here, they just stay injured. They just stay injured in multiple amount of time. You may be on to something like for real.
Well, I mean, they did do some changes this year. They added some more medical equipment and the likes. They had an article out on that where they spoke about how they upgraded. They paid attention and upgraded the medical.
You could give a monkey 5 more hammers to build a house. He still ain't gonna know what to do with it.
Well, we're gonna still I'm gonna still throw caution to the wind on them. I think they probably. Well, if that's the case, they really are showing them. But like I said, my take on it is I think probably it'll get better because the emphasis is on the fact that the medical staff with so many injuries. You can't help but to turn and say that's got to be an issue with the medical staff, because I haven't seen that happen ever to a team. Now you might have a few players out, but that many players I've named, maybe a list of 8 or 9 players. And I'm not talking about just backups and role players. I'm talking about Anthony Davis. I'm talking about Tyreek Evans. I'm talking about Drew Holiday. The big three that was supposed to carry the team, those guys are sitting out with injuries, watching guys off the street play, and I think that's largely in part because of the craptastic medical staff. But looking at some more NBA news, not indicative of the Pels, to kind of help sway it out, because I think he's just going to keep Andre Giant slamming the Pelicans.
That's my home team, man. I love the Pels. Don't get me wrong, but I'm gonna call a spade.
Okay. Let's talk LeBron before we close out. LeBron signed today. LeBron James signed a 3-year deal. I don't know if you guys are aware of it. He signed a 3-year deal worth $100 million to go back to Cleveland. And the parameters of the contract are pretty interesting, to say the least. He got his first year is worth $31 million. That's making him the highest paid player in the league, and that's the first time LeBron James in his whole career has been paid. He's the #1 highest paid player in the league, and that's surprising to me, that how good this guy's been for how long he's been, that he wasn't the highest paid player in the league, and this is the first time in his career after 10 plus years that he'll actually have that declaration. What's your take on that?
I think LeBron that's just it fits him, man. That's who he is, man. When he comes out, when he plays, he gets his players up, he gets them going first, and then he gets his points. So I mean, he pretty much did the same thing, man. He got a bunch of other guys paid, and now he keep taking home the big check.
Right, which he definitely cares. And just like he said, man, hey, to let everybody spread the money out, ration up and then you get the big check at the end. That's what he's working in right now. So congratulations, brother.
Yeah. Well, LeBron, like I said, it's 3 years, worth 3 years, $100 million. The second year of the deal, the first deal is worth 31. The second year of the contract is worth 33, bumps up $2 million. $33 million that will make him the highest paid player in a single season since Michael Jordan did it when Michael made $33 million a season back in the 97-98 season. And that third year on his contract is an option. So if you don't like what's going on in the third year, LeBron can opt out and get a bigger payday or go chase a ring somewhere else. What's your take on that?
Does that count with his sponsors as well? His endorsements?
No, that's just straight contract.
Just straight contract. Well, he's set. It's, by the fact that he doesn't get caught with no side chick or anything like that. Hey, caught smoking weed, all our folks, he good. He's on point, man.
Well, LeBron, to be honest with you, LeBron's a pure ambassador of the game, man. He's a guy that's upstanding. A guy that he takes pride in keeping a clean public appearance. He don't have his wife. He don't let his wife be on Twitter running her mouth about this or that or the third. He got her. She knows what time it is to not do that. So they know they're good. They're a good business team, and she knows not to embarrass him on there like that, like some people do. So I'm just saying, brother. I'm just saying. It's just attribute all of this here, this to the Saints. The fact that the Saints lost. Trust me, I'm in a better mood when the Saints are winners versus when they're losers. So, but tonight, bro. Yes, it does. It's hard. We take it hard. But so any last takes, fellas, before we end the show. Any last takes on anything? Go ahead, Swade.
I wanted to say, being that we were talking earlier that it's hard to get NBA players to come down here from big names, and which is kind of, I guess, a small market, but a small market with a lot of events going on.
Yes.
Like now we're possibly going to have our second All-Star game in New Orleans.
Yes, sir.
Along with a bunch of festivals we have. So, I don't understand why it's so difficult. We got so much going on, man.
I don't know if I see what you're saying. I think that the Dale Demps is all on the general manager. It depends on how he gets the architect on how he's going to build a team. It's all through his leadership. And my take on it is pretty simple. Dale Demps is a guy that had the mindset to always bring in veterans to fit in the system, whatever he's doing, and he's willing to overpay for veterans like he did for Tyreek Evans. I personally think that if you can't get good experienced veterans down here at the right price that won't break the bank, go through the draft process as OKC did when they drafted Kevin Durant. He fell in their left, but then they drafted Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Steven Adams, Reggie Jackson, Sergio Ibaka, and the list goes on and on and on, man, of how OKC gives you the blueprint on how to build your team, your franchise through the draft, and I think they need to take a pass. Now go ahead and answer that, DC.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. I think down here, there's no other level, man. Once you come down here, this shit like quicksand, bro. People don't see it, but it takes a little bit to get them here, but if we build from the inside out instead of the outside in, like we've been trying to build, we'll have a true contender, man. The start of that was with Anthony Davis, and they also brought in Buddy Hield. Both of these guys came out of the draft, so I think they started a real good trend with that. Dale can hopefully calm down, and we can get some younger guys in here, man. I think
the trend is very positive. I like the direction. I think they're gonna be a playoff team, a bottom seed if anything. But we'll talk about it on a later date. We'll cover some more events tomorrow on the Sports Coma. The Sports Coma first New Orleans Saints unofficial depth chart. We'll have that available on social media tomorrow. We'll talk about it on the show. And please feel free to share our show. And we thank y'all across the world for joining the Sports Coma. Have a blessed night.